Yeah, that was slightly less dramatic than I anticipated. But I bought a chainsaw. I have a old home light, and I dread taking it out. I only use it maybe once a year, every 2 years, but I dread taking it out. And the reason I dread taking it out is because it's a 2-cycle. It's always they're a little finicky, and you got to work on them a little bit to get them to function properly, or run at all. And it's super heavy. So I wanted something I could take out once a year, and just have it work. So have a series of Dewalt batteries, and that probably hinders any review that I can do because I only have Dewalt batteries and can't review this up against any of the other competition. But I did do a little research on which Dewalt batteried saw was the best choice. So I decided on the 12-inch. It's a small little saw that I thought would be appropriate for what I want to do. I'm somewhat free of large trees that I'm going to take down. I'm not doing logging or anything like that. I'm mostly trimming, ornamental trees, cherry trees, maybe an ornamental, bush or something like that. That's a little overgrown that I don't want to hand saw. So real light duty stuff. I wanted something that was quick and easy, mildly light, and that was just functional. So it didn't come with much. I mean, it was a tool only. But I can tell you what I was surprised about, although I expected to have to add a battery to it. It came with a saw. It came with a direction book. A little bit left to be desired in the direction book. But what I was surprised about is it didn't come with bar oil. So when you're looking at this saw, just realize that you're going to have a little bit more investment because you're going to need some bar oil. Reading the directions, I did realize that I want biodegradable bar oil because the trees that I am cutting down are intended to stay and not be cut down completely. I'm trimming them, so they recommended the biodegradable oil. So we got some of that. So let's see how it cuts. Not really sure how much this thing takes. So do a little bit. See what it looks like. Son's racing a remote control car in the backyard, and I think that dog's about to go eat it. Okay. My 5 amp hours are charging. This is a 4 amp hour. And listen, part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to have a lighter saw. So I want to try a smaller battery and see, hey, how long does it last? Is it careful or capable of doing, a little job? So let's give it a try. All right, before I do that, I'm gonna pull that off. Let's bench test it. Let's see if it works. That's pretty cool. So first thing we're gonna tackle is this crepe and myrtle. I've been trimming this thing the last couple of years. Went down to South Carolina and saw that they all look like trees down there, not bushes. I tend to dig that look, so I've been shaping this thing up a little bit by a little bit. And I also drive a car through here, and want to make sure it's not protruding where I'm going to hit a mirror. So I'm going to take that big guy off of there. So first cut, let's see how it goes. Safety. Okay. I'm gonna take a little bit higher. All right. Well, it works. It's a hell of a lot easier than using a hand saw. Well, first thing I noticed is it's quiet. I don't know if you knew, I saw that I had headphones over there or ear protection. And man, this is gonna be the Sunday morning saw, as it is really not loud at all, which is great when you're cutting in a residential neighborhood on a Saturday morning. The next thing I noticed is it's not intimidating.
it's a very comfortable saw to use. I'm used to a home light that's, you know, big and heavy, it's loud, and this is just kind of unassuming, and it's a nice little piece of machinery. It has its pros and its cons, right? There's a part of me that are you removed from the fact that it is in fact a chainsaw, and could be very dangerous. It is it's a blade spinning around on a big bar, but at the same token, it's easy to maneuver, muscle around a little bit if needed to. So in all, it's like a comfortable feeling, and I feel like I will use this much more than I use a traditional chainsaw.
So far, super impressed. What probably would take me over a day, good part of a weekend, it took maybe 45 minutes. So far, very impressed. I did eat through this 4-hour amp battery. It's at 1 bar. Now, it hasn't stopped yet, but I'm gonna tackle a part of that tree next, and I don't necessarily want to have a dead battery for it. So I'm gonna throw this on the charger, pick up a 5 amp hour. Let's see how it goes. Come here. Come on. Sit down. Stay. Hey. Stay. Okay.
That's about the largest diameter I would cut with this saw. It's a 12-inch bar, and cutting a 9 or 10-inch branch, or tree for that matter, is about the max I would probably feel comfortable with the saw. Would it be nice to have a larger capacity? Sure, but I wouldn't trade it for, added weight or, lack of wieldability like this saw. I was very impressed with how easy it was to handle. Even with some above head cuts like this, I noticed it was incredibly well weighted. It's 8-pound tool only, but just the bar to battery, the way that they weighted it just felt right on the handle. So if you do have to do a one-handed cut, it's weighted so well that you can do it fairly easily. The chain speed, I noticed, was appropriate as well. I've used a saw where the chain speed was so fast, you really got to pay attention because the tree is gone before you know it. This was I don't want to say slow, but just a well-paced chain speed where you can be aware of what you're cutting and be able to anticipate what's going to happen before it's too late. I'll reiterate, I really like the volume of this saw. Being able to do this without aggravating neighbors, early on a Saturday or a Sunday is a huge benefit over a gas saw. So really happy about that. Couple unknowns. I don't have an entire arsenal of outdoor, battery-powered Dewalt tools. I have a hedge trimmer and now this, and that's it. But I'm curious as I grow my collection, how many batteries would you actually need to go through a weekend, cleanup project of a property? Something I don't know the answer to. I guess I will find out as I continue to go on, and probably give me a good excuse to go out and buy some of their newer batteries. Another thing that's unknown is the longevity of the chain. And to be perfectly frank, I don't know that much about chainsaw chains and what the expectation of a life is before they need to be resharpened, but I can't speak on that because the saw is brand new. I did do some research and found that this saw is mildly notorious for leaking oil. And I did read the directions, and it stated that you should drain the bar oil after each use, which I thought was a little bit unrealistic. I don't intend to practice that unless I find a really solid reason why that is bad for the saw, other than the reason that it leaks. So yet to be determined if mine leaks as well, or if that's something they fixed, but it is something that I was aware of prior to purchasing. All right, so nice to haves or final thoughts. And I feel almost silly stating this again. The lack of bar oil, I don't know, that one just surprised me. Even a 2-cycle saw, at least come with enough oil to get you through your first tank of gas. I thought that was a miss that they didn't include enough bar oil to get you through, your first usage at least. Not a big miss, right? But just noted. Another thing, and this isn't expected, but it would have been great if this thing came in a big plastic case. If reputation serves it well and it does in fact leak oil, being able to stick the whole thing in a nice big plastic case and throw it on a shelf would be a lot nicer than having a leaky machine with a sharp saw blade sticking out on a shelf. So I'll have to see if there's something aftermarket that I can purchase, because I feel like that would be a nice add. As far as, well, how do you rank it? All in all, this is one of those tools where I'm just like, why didn't I buy this sooner? I had this property for maybe 8 years or so and struggled with a lot of the little tasks that this thing is going to be super helpful with. So surprised I didn't recognize the need for this type of saw sooner, but happy I have it now and hope it treats me well. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And if you know anything about wood chippers, man, I'm making a big pile in the back now that I have this new saw, and I feel like the next thing I have to look at is a wood chipper. So in the comments, let me know, what do you recommend for 5 to 6 inch wood chipper that would make sense for 2.5 acre property like this. Thanks again. Take care.
All right, so right now the dog is licking the biodegradable oil off of the bar. So, okay, well, yep, all right.